I'm so excited to be here today. Don't pay attention to the fact that my face does not match my hands. We are gonna work on that. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, my name is Amanda, and I'm so happy that you are here. I live in Georgia with my husband and my son, who is 18 months old, and by day, I am an entrepreneur, and I work in the pageant industry as a coach. But today, we're gonna get all into the details, do some Q&A, some yip-yapping. I have my coffee with me, and I thought it'd be fun for us to just like hang out a little bit and kind of catch up. It has been a long time since I got to post on YouTube all the time. If you have a toddler, you understand what that's like. There's like all these things that we need to talk about. So without further ado, let's get started. I asked you guys last week on my Instagram what questions you had for me. So we're gonna get ready for sessions and also answer those questions that you have while James is napping. We've got him pulled up to make sure that he is all well while he naps. He's so far been asleep for 30 minutes. Now, that being said, will he make it to 2.5 hours today? That's the question. So we need to hurry up and get ready just in case he does not. So the first question I got was, how did you actually get started as a pageant coach? And when did you realize that it could be a real business? I'm starting today with my Precisely My Brow in color 4.5. Funny story, my mom actually used to drive me to coaching sessions for clients. And it kind of happened accidentally. And I'm really obviously grateful that it did. But I was doing local pageants here in Georgia. And some of the moms had seen me model. And there was one in particular that asked me to coach her daughter. And I was like, oh, like, I don't really know. And she's like, no, I love the way that you model. I love the way that you speak. Come work with my daughter. So I did. And her daughter had a friend, and I would go over to their house and coach both of them. And then kind of word of mouth got me to other clients and other clients. As a 15 or 16-year-old, I just loved pageants so much, and I just wanted to be able to work with these girls. And so then it just kind of started, and I did it all throughout high school and even into my early college as well. Now I'm going in with my Faux Brow by L'Oreal Paris. I love this one. And this is a dark brunette. I have done the light brunette. Don't do the light brunette. The dark brunette, if you have my hair color, is perfect for you. Now, when I went to college, my original plan was to work for the Walt Disney Company in corporate and work in marketing or executive communication. When I was in college, I actually got the opportunity to work for the Walt Disney Company. I did one of the internships, and I absolutely loved the company, and I loved getting to like create magic for people. As I started to go through college, after coming home from working at Disney, I realized that I had such a deep-rooted passion for communication and for business. So I thought it'd be fun to combine those and work in executive leadership coaching and communication development for executives. So I started doing that right out of college. I'm not gonna line my brows with my Tarte Shape Tape. I like the creamy one because it's a little bit more hydrating. I decided that I was going to compete once more. Then I found the opportunity to compete at Miss International. I also realized that how demanding my job was. As much as I loved it, I never really felt like I was making a difference for the kingdom of God, and I never really felt like I was making the impact that I was when I was coaching. So mind you, all of this is happening at the same time. It came to this moment where I was dating Brandon at the time, and I remember sitting on the floor and realizing that my true passion was being a pageant coach and working with young women on a daily basis. Mind you, I had like 5 clients at the time, maybe, because it was still something that I was just kind of like doing on the side. I was pursuing executive coaching full-time post-grad, but I really in my heart just had this piece of the fact that I was meant to be a pageant coach. I made the decision to leave my corporate job, pursue becoming Miss International full-time, and pursue pageant coaching full-time. And it was in that moment that I realized, oh, this is going to be a business. This is going to be my job to become a full-time pageant coach, because I felt it so clearly on my heart from the Lord. While it started with my mom driving me to coaching sessions, now this is what I get to do on a daily basis. Alrighty, those brows are now lined, and it is time to get down to business to defeat the Hun and pull my hair officially out of my face. There we go. Okay, wait, that's not cute. Okay, much better. I think that journey to becoming a pageant coach is just a prime example that when the Lord has something for you, He's going to make it really clear, and you will know that is exactly where He wants you to be, even if it doesn't make sense to the rest of the world. It really didn't make sense. Even Brandon was like, okay, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. My family was like, are you sure? Okay, let's go for it. And it didn't make sense to so many people, right? Because I had so few clients at the time, but I really knew that this is where God had me. So if there's something that God has put on your heart, my encouragement is to confirm that it's actually his will for your life, not just you wanting to do it, but confirm that that's what the Lord has for you, and you'll be able to have that through prayer. And when you know without a shadow of a doubt that that's where the Lord wants you, you move when he tells you to move. And praise God I did, because now I'm here. The next question was, do you miss competing in pageants yourself, or do you prefer being on the coaching side now? And my answer might surprise you. This is my Charlotte Tilbury. You put this under your makeup to really add some life to your skin, and I love it because I used to be a matte girly, but now I like when there's just a little bit of shine kind of coming through and glow, and that's exactly what this does as well. I'll put the official name down below. So to answer your question, I loved competing in pageants, and I am so grateful for the experience that I had. However, I am way happier and more fulfilled on the coaching side. I do not miss competing at all. I also do not miss the 3 a.m. wake up calls. The newborn phase of James really reminded me of the fact that I do like sleep. I don't have to have sleep. I'm not like one of those people, but I do like sleep, and waking up at 3 a.m. is maybe not my vibe for the rest of my life. That being said, is I really got to have all the experiences that I want to have. I did everything that I wanted to do, so I don't feel like I missed out on anything. I was a NAM state queen quite a few times. I was a queen for Miss Collegiate America. I did all these different systems, and then I got to be a NAM national queen and Miss International and travel the world. So I got all of the things that I wanted to get, and I also got all the different skills that pageants can really give you, and allowed me to be where I'm at now in my career. So I feel very fulfilled with where I was as a competitor, and now getting to work with these girls on a daily basis and help their dreams come true for the next generation of pageant girls, that makes me so much more fulfilled. I love it. This is the Dior Forever Foundation. This is everything. If you want a full coverage, but also to have like a little bit of glow from the Charlotte Tilbury, this is the one. It's worth the investment. I was unsure at the beginning of like, okay, is it? Do we really need to spend the money? And babe, we need to spend the money. And the next question makes me laugh because it's something that is ongoing and I'm always trying to get better at. The question is, how do you balance it all and still have time for yourself? I feel like I'm good at this at different times of the year because there's so much seasonality in my career. Number one piece of advice that I would tell you is to figure out what the number one priority is and schedule that first. So for me, time with James is the most important thing to me and to my husband as well. Like we love being parents. We love being with James. So with that being said, is before I even open up hours for coaching, I make sure that I have the time that I want with him. And then I also make sure that for the times that I get to work, I have someone who can watch him. And we've been so blessed to have the best nannies ever. I just go in order of rank, so to speak. I just know that on the times that I don't have what I want with James, I am not a good human. I am best when I get time with James first. I think that balancing it all also means having a husband who is so incredibly helpful. One of the best compliments I had gotten was actually from one of our nannies recently, and she said that Brandon was one of the most involved dads that she had ever seen, and that is so true. Brandon is the absolute best. Like, I married the nice guy, and he is the best guy in the whole world. Even with his own career that he's working on growing, he makes so much time for our family and for James and for me, and he's just like the best of the best. So that helps balance it all as well. And then one thing I also have to do is figure out, well, how do I still do my job most effectively and help the girls that God has called me to help and show up the way that I want to for my family. One of the ways that I've been able to do that is I take intentional breaks in the evening to be with James, and then I go back to work at night. That makes the world of difference because that way I still get to be there for bedtime and snuggles when he goes down, and then I just work as late as I need to depending on whatever season that I'm in. I feel like my answers on this are so long. This is what happens when you let me yak. The last part of that question was, and still make time for yourself. And that is something that just in this season of life is not the top priority. Time for myself also means time with James. Even if we're just like going on a walk, I want to be on a walk with him. But one thing that I always do is I take a bath at the end of the night. It does not matter what time it is. Me and my bath have a date. Once I have had that bath, I have had that like little bit of me time and I'm good to go. That being said, is we also like to watch TV shows at night once I get done with sessions. So Brandon likes this guy called Nick Bear. So Brandon watches him. I work on needlepoint or just kind of like do mindless things. And that little bit of me time at the end of the night really makes a big difference. So that way that I can love on the family well the next day. Next question is, what's something about the pageant industry that people outside of pageants completely misunderstand? No one realizes how hard these girls girls work. And I do because I'm with them day in and day out. But it is not just show up on stage and look beautiful. These girls are putting in so much work from start to finish, working on their interpersonal skills, working on their modeling and stage presence and confidence. There's a reason that our company uses the motto, choose to win. And that's just correct. Like, these girls don't just show up and hope it goes well. The winners choose to win. If you see the light changing on me, no you don't. I'm sitting next to my window in our room and I love this, but the clouds had other ideas for lighting today. So we're just gonna go with it, okay? What does your husband really think about the pageants, the travel schedule, and everything that comes with your career, LOL? Well, you would have to ask him about that. But one thing that's really cool about our relationship is that everything that we have today is obviously a direct result of the Lord, but it's also something that we have built together. He was an analyst when we first met. I was a girl trying to win a pageant and graduating and building my business with not a lot of clients. So we've been through all the different seasons of life together, which I'm really, really grateful for. I think he would tell you that this is definitely a God-given calling in my life and that I love my girls so very much. He always talks about the fact, like I told you guys earlier in the video, I literally sat on the floor and cried at the thought of not being able to be a pageant coach and be with my girls. So he knows how much I care. And he would also say that we've learned like what works best for us and for our family and for the business that I've been able to build. And what works for us doesn't have to work for everybody. And he would probably also tell you that I work too much, but that he understands and it just kind of comes with it. What's been great in the past is that Brandon and James have been able to come with me on a lot of my work trips. That's not the case anymore, but I was really grateful for it during our first year. He also wouldn't tell you that he is super dad. Yeah, that's just not, he would never brag on himself like that, but he is in fact super dad that makes all this possible. So every time I can like add a session unexpectedly for someone, it is because Mr. Brandon Young shows up like a king. Now, let's get back to makeup. This is the LYS, which by the way, I thought was a hidden gem off TikTok. Come to find out, all the makeup artists actually know exactly what it is. It's called the No Limits, and this is the Harmony shade. I used to be just a powder girly, but now I love going in with cream products. And with a round face, I very much love a good contour. Our next question is, do you want more kids? And what a loaded question that is. The short answer is yes. Brandon and I have always wanted 2 kids. Well, he wanted like 3 or 4. I think it was 3 originally. I mean, he wanted to have kids like right after we got married. Obviously that did not happen. And we were building the business and COVID and his job and my job. It was just not feasible. But now we know that we would like another kid at some point if that's what God has for us. But what is also hard is that once you have been through a high-risk pregnancy, everything changes. And there was a lot of healing that I had to do from going through that with James. And if you're interested, I can totally do a whole video on our journey with a high-risk pregnancy. But long story short is that was really difficult for us. And praise God that James is okay. I didn't do a great job processing those emotions in real time. I was just kind of like in survival mode. So once we had James, that is when all of the emotions came flooding through, and that was really difficult and something that I still kind of work through on a daily basis. I wish it was a lot easier, but it's not. Feelings always have a way of showing themselves even when you don't want them. So yes, we do want another baby, but I think that I still have a little bit of healing to do emotionally from that. And we want to get James in a really great place. He's a superstar, don't get me wrong. James is thriving and crushing it, but there's a few more milestones that I want James to hit before we welcome another baby into our family. So if that is what God has for us, yes. And now we are going back in with the Tarte Shape Tape under our eyes because that your girl really needs. I just like to blend mine out with a brush. I used to use a beauty blender for it, but that's not my favorite anymore. I just use a little brush for it. I will, however, link my favorite beauty blenders that I actually get from Amazon, and they're such good dupes for like a proper beauty blender. Next question is, what do you hope that James remembers most about his childhood? And that is very simple. Joy. Because it's my Q&A and not a pageant, I'm going to give 2 answers. And the second one is I want him to just know how much his mom and dad loved him. And meanwhile, look at who's joined us. Hi, Lots. Look who's joined us. He's like over there. Do you want to come say hi? Our next question is, are you coming back to London? And babe, a question that I ask myself on a daily basis. London is my favorite place in the world. I literally absolutely love London. I usually get to go to the UK about once a year to be with our UK coach, Ed. And then also there are these events called the Pageant Expo, and they are awesome and amazing. And I have gotten invited to speak at them a number of different times, and I'm obviously very grateful for that. So we'll see. I don't have any flights booked currently, which is absolutely devastating when you think about it. But my hope is that I get to come back at some point next year. Okay, now we need to set our under eye. This is the Laura Mercier powder that I'm obsessed with. The color is just the translucent one. And I only set my eyes and my under eyes because for a while I was not, and then my makeup was transferring and that was not cute. Now I should have done my blush first before I set that, but you know, we are just gonna commit and do it now. This is the Rare Beauty in the color Hope. Now, I like to do the liquid one on this, but then I also will go back in with like a proper powder before I finish up my makeup as well. Next question is, what is something that you're currently trying to get better at? Being organized, because I am incredibly organized in my professional life, and in my personal life, there is area for growth there. I love this. How often do you go to Disney? It feels like you're there every week. In my dreams would I be there every week. I would love to. Now this year I have been extra spoiled because I've gotten to go to Disney way more than I have ever gotten to go in the past, and I'm so happy about it. For eyeshadow, I'm using my Aspen palette from Tarte. It is currently not in stock, but if it ever does come back in stock, just know I will be buying like 5 of them. Now this year I have gotten to go way more times than I have in years previous. We actually get basically an annual pass because my mom is retired military. And this year they had this amazing discount where you could literally get unlimited visits for some wicked good price. So if you are a military family, look into that. The military is actually how my mom and dad met. So we are very grateful for everything that Miss Phyllis Moreno did for our country, and I'm personally very grateful for everything that she did to get me tickets to Disney as well. Now that being said, this year we've kind of gotten to this tradition where we go for Mother's Day. So we did that, and I think that was our first visit this year. And then we also surprised my dad and went for Father's Day because he was already going to be there. And then I also got to go, did we go earlier in the year? I think we might have gone in springtime too, and I'm just not remembering. I'm gonna have to ask Brandon. That one's a floating, unclear. And then I obviously got to go when I was in Orlando for work. I know for sure I will go in November because I have to be back in Orlando for work. And then I obviously go every Christmas with my family, which has been a tradition since I was 3 years old. So this year I have been at Disney a lot, but if I had it my way, it would be even more. All right, now for my actual shadow, I'm just using my finger and going in with the color Brilliant and just kind of using that to brighten up the eye. The next question is, what is one thing you swore you'd never do as a mom and you totally do? And that would be screen time. I said I was never gonna do it. We're now at 18 months, and the screen time we allow is very intentional. We allow this awesome kind of like nature montage. I will put it down below, but they have like Africa and under the ocean and all these different settings, and James loves the animals. So we have that. We also allow anything golf because golf is James's favorite. And then every now and then we get to watch Little Bear as well. But screen time is incredibly, incredibly limited. It is usually just on a weekend for just a couple of minutes. If Brandon and I are doing something around the house, I was like, I will never do that. And here we are. For mascara, I am using the Voluminous Carbon Black by L'Oreal. I've been using this since my pageant days, and it is my all-time favorite. James is snoring. I'm listening to his monitor right now and watching him. He's got little snores. He's been a little bit sick the past week, so I'm hoping that he's getting a really, really good sleep right now. Next question is, what's a normal thing that makes you ridiculously happy? And I don't necessarily have it. Do I have an answer? I do have an answer, and you're not gonna guess it, and you're gonna be like, what? Ice. I know I sound ridiculous, but I love ice, and not all ice is created equal. Ice from Racetrack is my absolute favorite. I think it's like 50 cents for a large like cup of ice, like one of those big cups, and Brandon brings me home one every single day. It is the absolute best. I've tried all of the different ices from gas stations, and that's my favorite. I know you guys think I'm crazy on that. I'm actually looking at getting a ice nugget maker, and it was Brandon's idea originally. Then I had the kind of idea about it, and then we came together about it, and we were like, yeah, we might need this. I'm the one that's obsessed with it. He doesn't really care. As I've been looking at makers though, we know this. Ice is not the same from every maker. And one of my favorite things about the racetrack ice is that it is obviously ice, but it also is like not so cold that you can't crunch it. It's super small because I love QT too. QT has great food, but so does racetrack, honestly. But the problem is that the QT ice, even the nugget ice, is still too big for my preference. Racetrack ice is the absolute best. So yeah, that makes me happy, and I'm really hoping that someone watching this understands. Wow, we are really starting to look a little bit more human, aren't we? Yes, human again, human again. If you got that reference, comment down below, and you are an amazing person, and I'm glad you're here if you know that reference. What's something you care way more about now that you're older? Hello? Older? No, I am older. That's actually true. I turn 34 this year. I would say something that I care more about is experiences. I've always cared about experiences. But when I was young and it was just me and Brandon and I had a great job and he had a great job and all these different things, like I got the shoes and I got the bag, and I'm obviously very grateful for all those things. I still have them all. They were great investment pieces. But now I would much rather invest in memories than a bag. So that would be why I don't have any new bags, because all of our money goes to a cute little kid and also to these experiences and trips that we love so much. My liner I'm using today is Whirl. I need a new one. This one's from MAC, but I love it. Something that's not as lighthearted as that is peace. Like I've always wanted to live a very happy and peaceful life, obviously. But now I very much live with this mindset of if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. For lip color today, I'm using Pillow Talk by Charlotte again. Wow, we look a lot more human now. And Walt is just living his life over there. What's one fashion trend that you hope never comes back? Low-rise jeans. If you survived the early 2000s like I did, you understand. And the last one is, what's your comfort movie? The answer is a very, very clear Princess Diaries throughout the year. And then again, this is not a pageant interview, so I can pick multiple answers. And during Christmas, A Royal Christmas. I am not even gonna lie, I watched a little bit of it today and it is August. All right, and now we are ready for a full work day. So I'm gonna try to get a quick bite to eat before James wakes up. And then we have a friend coming over later to see us, so that's really fun too. If you have made it all the way to the end, I am so glad that you did. That is very kind of you. For more of day-to-day things with me, make sure to check out my Instagram or TikTok. Instagram's where I post the most though, and my goal is to keep these weekly videos for you guys coming on YouTube as well. If you have more questions, put them down below and I'll put them into the next batch of questions that I do, and another fun like get ready with me. We could do them to where they're themed, like pageant chat, get ready with me, mom chat, get ready with me, entrepreneur chat, get ready with me. I think that would be really fun. So if that is something that you want to see, comment down below. And if you did make it all the way to the end, go ahead and leave a sunshine emoji because I am feeling very sunshiny today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.